So this is the CSS garden design that I came up with. What gave me this inspiration to come up with this type of style of design was when I was looking through some of the other designs, and one of them had lots of color and the elements of text were all in blocks of color going from one side to the other, and I just overall wanted to go with a really clean, I guess you could say modern design. One of the challenges I faced was getting this sidebar to get the sidebar here. It took me quite a while to figure it out. But how I managed it was to encapsulate all of this in one class and then setting the right side of the margin to be I think it's like 300 or 200 pixels from the right edge, and then all I had to do to get this here was to have this element be a position of absolute, because I wanted it to stay right on the website. So the farther you go down, it doesn't travel with you. It doesn't just stay right in one spot. It stays on one spot on the web page. So out of the most thing, I guess what I'm proud of is getting the sidebar like this. So I'll show you a little bit of the code. I used a lot of the RGBA, turning the opacity down quite a bit. This is the opacity slider. So the background it's not fully the color, it's a little bit less. Change the visited sites to be a purple, hovering over to be a light blue, and then each individual section has two parts. One is the main element that gives it its background color and text to be aligned and margins and padding. And the next part focuses on just this tag, the H3, which makes it uppercase with a bit of padding, color, text shadow, and margin. And that's the same for each one of these. So all of this starting from here, going down to here, is just to make that happen. There's a lot of margins and padding that I implemented throughout this. So this part right here, class stop main, margin right 320 pixels is actually what it takes to get that right here. And then this is the sidebar position, absolute, and then just the rest of it is just to get it in the right place on the website. And then the background color, same as the rest of all the elements, like the requirements block and all that. And then we get into the customization of the sidebar. So having all of the headers be uppercase, and then making the anchor, making the links have no underline, and then the rest of the hovering over is the same as it is right here, the same color. One thing I would change and improve on this website is have it at a certain point when you get the window to past a certain size, make it to where the website itself is shrunk down on either side. So instead of going all the way over to the edge of the window, it'll actually be in on both sides. That would be mainly for somebody who has a ultra wide monitor or is putting it up on a TV, making it full screen. I think it makes it look better if it cuts off at some point. That would be one of the things I would change. And to get these lines in here, this is one of the first things that I did. That was a noticeable change, besides, because the very first thing I did was make the text center. I knew I wanted my text to all be center. And then I knew I wanted to have a separation between each one of these headers. And the way that I thought about it at that point was to have an inline style. So it's just a border, 2 pixels in width, to make that happen. And that's on each one with in style format. This is the design.